1. A decade ago, I worked as the resident technician at Staples. I repair computers for our store's customers. Our uniform was khakis, a black polo with a lime green collar and company name and logo on the chest. I got off shift and headed over to Best Buy to look at DVDs. While I'm there, I spot a regular customer of mine. She was an odd duck, but very sweet, and used to being treated like crap because she dressed like a drag queen, even though she was just a little old lady in Maine. Think tan mom crossed with super gaudy gold everything amateur drag queen. She just liked the weird clothes and outrageous makeup and nails. Anyway, she knows I don't work at Best Buy, but couldn't get anyone to help her. I wasn't doing anything important, and she had bought hundreds of dollars of stuff from me in the last few months, so I started my sales questions. I like to know what people are looking for, what they intend to use the product for, and price range. Often people insist they need one thing, but actually need something completely different, and it's easier to ask rather than do exchanges. We go to the computer section, and I try to find an associate while helping her. We hop on a demo laptop, and I do a Best Buy search for things she might be interested in. What she wanted didn't appear to be in stock, so I switch over to the Staples site to see if we had it in stock. We did have it, and I told her I'd meet her at the store as soon as I finished buying DVDs. I said maybe 20 minutes, as my store was only a mile or so down the road from the mall. She left, and I got into line. All of a sudden, I got yanked out of line by a man I've never seen in BB floor manager attire. He proceeds to drag me into another register, and I'm thinking this is a rude way to open a new lane. He pulls me behind the register and tells me to open up and start ringing up customers. I just have a stupid look on my face as I don't know what's happening. I try to say that I don't work there, but he isn't listening. A couple of people are staring at us from other lines. I say I can help if they really need it, but I don't know how to work their system, and I shouldn't be handling money since I don't work there. He gets all huffy, obviously not really listening. He punches in his code to unlock the register and walks off. I turn to look around bewildered. A few people are snickering. The cashier right next to the lane said, "What the hell was that?" I replied that I had no clue. I asked to speak to a manager. A call went out over the speaker system, and the same person came back and yelled at me for not working. I asked for his boss. He threw a tantrum, but the cashier called the store manager on her own, as they obviously saw their floor manager was off their rocker. The GM comes over and asks what I'm doing behind a register, and I said I didn't know, I was just trying to buy 2 movies. The GM said that I shouldn't be trying to check myself out, and I said I wasn't trying to. The floor manager keeps spouting off that the new hires are awful. Then it clicks for the GM. I lay out the story, including how the register was unlocked for me, and how I could have just emptied the register and taken off. The floor manager realized how stupid they had been, and was told to wait in the GM's office. I got my stuff rung up and paid for at the register they had stuck me at, and I headed back to Staples. All in all, I spent an hour at Best Buy. It was a fun story to tell the lady waiting at Staples. My boss even had me log back in to ring out her stuff, and said he would log me out in an hour so I'd get paid for the time I spent making a sale in my off time. 2. This happened a few days ago. I'm still confused at this person's reaction. I work at a craft store as a front-end manager running the registers, helping customers get out as quick as I can. Get a page from the back wall saying there's a hysterical lady on hold, wanting customer service, i.e. me. "Thank you for holding, how can I help you?" The hysterical lady says, "Hi, yes, I left my wallet there a few hours ago and I need it as it has all my money in it. It has some cards, a lot of cash, and it's a green wallet. It's the size of a checkbook. It has my checkbook in it. My daughter is on her way to grab it for me. I need it. It has all my money." "Okay, I just need a little more info. Have you your receipt? It should say who checked you out and what register." She tells me, and I'm already doubtful because it was my cashier who was covering breaks, and he had covered that register 2 times at least 2 hours ago, and 4 hours ago. I go check with everyone in that area, the cashier assigned to the register. The covering cashier. I check with management in case it happened on my break. I check the lost and found up front. Nothing. No wallet. Just a purse left 5 minutes before that had been claimed while I was getting her info. Not good. "Still there?" "Yes, have you found it? Unfortunately, I haven't had anything turn up here. I checked and my bosses haven't gotten anything. Checked with the cashiers, nothing there either." "Ah! Well, I know I left it there. I need it. It has all my cash. Can you check the cameras? We're on our way. Kept repeating stuff she already told me, still screaming. Let me transfer you to management. They'll be able to check the cameras. Store manager comes up about 10 minutes later, tells me he checked the cameras, and the lady took her wallet. But her kids were still coming in, so he'll talk with them when they show up. Her kids come in, and unfortunately I didn't hear too much. At that point it got too busy and I couldn't be near enough to hear. But the cashiers who were there, the two I had originally asked since it was on their registers, told me they were getting upset since they know their mother left it here. I did hear the end, though. The store manager said, "We have proof you took it out of the store. At that point, there isn't anything we can really do to help." "Well, we're gonna file a police report." "You can go ahead, but again, we have video proof you took the wallet with you." After that, they left, and I'm genuinely confused. Like, were they threatening us with the police report? Did they not believe us about the cameras? We get a purse or a wallet left behind at least once a week, and those get returned the same day. Just keep an eye on your elderly. It isn't worth yelling at someone because they dropped their wallet under the seat. 3. So my friend Raj works for a very huge global conglomerate in management and travels around the US a lot. However, his house is in the suburbs of a famous college town in Texas. He was out of town for the whole last week and came back yesterday evening. Once at the airport, his colleague and friend Mike picked him up as a favor to drop him off at home. Once they were almost there, Raj realized his fridge was near empty and he needed some food. So they stopped by a gas station to get some frozen foods and some small snacks. Raj is always dressed sharp. Always. It's how he was taught since he was a kid. He was royalty. Literally, his name is in my country's list of people with royal lineage. So he is always clean and a very, very, very nice guy unless you piss him off. One of his revenge stories can make even John Wick want to take him as a disciple. Story for another time, but even half the story I know made me scared of this guy for a bit. So anyway, Raj and Mike went into the store, got some stuff. Raj was carrying a laptop case in his hand, dressed in a suit. There was a guy behind the counter who looked so bored. I am sure he would rather go back home and play on his laptop instead of being on his phone. And enter Karen. Raj only said she looked a little older, not how she dressed, but that she had on a ton of makeup. Raj didn't even know when she entered this store, or when she came to find him she had a mask on, so did Raj and Mike. Anyway, she came up to him and immediately asked him where a certain drink was. It seemed she usually buys it here, but today she couldn't find any. Raj was confused, looked at her. Here's the gist of the conversation as said by Raj. "I'm sorry, what? I don't know. I don't come here usually, so don't know where it is." Another lazy college student. "You're getting paid to help me, just do your job." Yep, she assumed because he was brown, he was a part-timer at the store, working in a suit, holding his laptop and shopping cart. "Sorry, I don't work here. I am also here to shop. There's a guy behind the counter, maybe he can help." "Help me now. I know you need this job, so don't force me to call your manager and get you fired. Stop being lazy." Raj, now thinking maybe his mask made it hard for her to understand, pulled his mask down a bit and said a little loudly, "Ma'am, I don't work here. I am also shopping. I had a long flight and I'm tired. Please leave me alone." "You brown guys are always lazy. I'm asking you for the last time before I call your manager to get you fired. Get my drinks now." At this point, Raj was pissed. He looked at her calmly. "Sure. Let me help you." Then he looked at the assistant behind the counter and called out loudly, "Hey dude, can you come here? This lady needs some help shopping, but I think she has some problem with hearing and sight. She thinks I work here and can't seem to even hear when I explain I don't, multiple times." Then he looked at Karen and said again loudly, "Don't worry, someone will help you so that you won't trip and fall." Karen was red in the face, just looked at Raj angry and walked away. The bored shop assistant didn't even know it happened. And while all this was happening, it seems Mike actually paid for a drink and came back running, and was enjoying the show while sipping his drink. And he was also laughing the whole way home, even when they got back to his place and working during the night. He randomly burst out laughing, it seems. 4. This happened a long time ago. Short background. I was in the Army Reserves and worked as a cashier at a big chain retail store. I got deployed, came back and got my old job back as a cashier. So to the story. The store was having a special on canned peas, 3 cents a can. I think they were trying to get rid of overstock. A woman we will call Karen came to my register. She had 2 carts full to overflowing with canned peas. I tried to tell her she didn't need to unload all of them if she knew how many she had, but she just huffed at me and proceeded to put hundreds of cans on the belt, saying she wanted them bagged. They were in those flat cardboard boxes, so okay, I bagged them all. About 3/4 through ringing them up, she glances at the screen with the price. She proceeded to scream at me, "The sign said 2 cents a can!" Normally, I would just change the price, but since she had made me scan each one and I would have to go back and recount and change each one individually, I called the department to confirm they were in fact 2 cents. No, I was informed the sign said 3 cents. Keep in mind she had like 200 cans, so it was only like $2 more than she had thought, and the cans were normally around 50 cents. I informed her that they were in fact 3 cents. She started throwing a hissy fit. Other customers were staring at her in disbelief. After a little bit of this and going back and forth of her calling me names, she picked up a can of peas and threw them at me. She missed and almost hit another customer in line behind me. She then picked up another can and threw it again. I was prepared this time and caught it, which pissed her off more. I had just gotten back from combat deployment. I saw red and thought about jumping over the counter at her, but I didn't. Instead, I just walked off my register. A manager had heard the commotion and took over. I sat in the break room for a minute to get control of myself, and another manager walked in and berated me for walking off my register. At that point, I threw down my name tag, flipped off the manager, and left the store and didn't come back. I joined the active army shortly after. 5. Filming a video at work the other day. We help film safety videos for other people's places of work. This particular video had a quippy bit along the lines of, "Even an Olympic weightlifter shouldn't attempt these heavy maneuvers without noting proper form and procedure." I do almost exclusively behind-the-scenes stuff, but occasionally pitch in when we have non-speaking bit parts like this that aren't worth coordinating an actor for. So I put on this very hokey Olympic weightlifter costume. That was literally a pair of spandex shorts and a shirt that said weightlifter on it, with the Olympic rings and US flag sewn on. Probably nothing like what Olympians actually wear, but much easier and cheaper for getting the joke across. I pretended to execute this particular company's operations improperly, while acting in pain, and the whole thing took maybe 20 minutes. But I still had a lot of work to do, and we were way behind, so didn't find the time to stop and change back to my regular clothes. End of the day came, and the whole project had taken a lot longer than we anticipated, so we were all exhausted and eager to get out of there. I hurried home, and was just walking up to the front of my apartment building when this gorgeous woman flags me down. I did a double take because surely she couldn't be talking to me. Something critically important to know at this juncture, I am pretty much the picture of average physically and personally. Not a pity party, I work hard for that average. Things could frankly be a lot worse. But anyways, this becomes relevant, and not just because of my sad dating life. Hang in. So this stunning woman touches my shoulder, rendering me speechless, and also confirming I'm who she was after. And she says, "Oh, perfect, hi, my name is Tanya. I'm your neighbor across the hall. I don't think we formally met before. Look, my girlfriend's moving in on the 3rd floor. Our building is a walk-up, and the moving company she hired doesn't have a COI, so the landlord isn't letting them up. Any chance you could help us? I mean, clearly it wouldn't be a challenge for you." She again brushes against me flirtatiously, so as this is happening, I've realized she's seen my costume shirt from the shoot, and inferred me as some kind of world-class weightlifter. I don't want to perpetuate a lie, but I don't want her to lose interest in me. This is a beautiful woman right in my building, and I figured as long as she doesn't explicitly ask, "Hey, were you in the Olympics?" it isn't exactly lying. The convoluted plan I'd formed in my head was that I'd help her move, because even I can lift boxes, and then, once we had a date scheduled, and she'd ask me about my Olympic glory, I'd say, "Oh, that, haha, no, let me explain." And it would be a funny misunderstanding we could look back and laugh about, because by then enough time would have passed that she would see other worthwhile qualities in me. Like how I can keep any houseplant alive and have really organized closets. Basically the same as being an Olympian, right? So I confidently tell her, not a problem, what needs moving? I get over to the curb near the truck, and the first things I see are a whole-ass sectional couch, a 5-tiered wooden armoire, a grandfather clock, a massage chair, a treadmill, a box spring. Just lifting my regular boxes when I'd moved, like the plates and linens and stuff, was a major physical undertaking for me that had required multiple breaks, and I didn't even live in a unit accessed by stairs. But I was determined to impress this girl, and more importantly at that point, not horrifically humiliate myself in a scene that would surely spread the rest of the tenants. So once again, I allowed a convoluted, not so much plan this time as delusion, to form for me mentally. I figured there were 3 of us, me and her friend. None of the objects could be too difficult to transport. Plus, I had spent all day listening to professionals instruct on the safest way to lift heavy objects. So we started with the heirloom armoire because it was closest to the door and the most valuable item. So what her friend was most worried about leaving on the street. They actually wanted one of the girls to stay out there and watch the stuff, but I knew that way I'd have no chance of getting any of those things up 3 flights of stairs in a manner befitting a pro athlete. So convinced them for their own safety in regard to weight distribution, there needed to be 3 of us. We lifted the armoire, we got it to the door. I was immediately physically and mentally dying just from having to step over the little hump between the door and the lobby. I felt like my arms had been crushed by a steamroller by the time we got to the stairs, and my core was twisted up like a pretzel. I was so tense I could barely get a breath in. I was grateful that the armoire was at least obscuring my face because I probably looked like a high diver just before they hit the water. And worse, the girls were, understandably, not making too intensive an effort to carry their end, figuring I had it covered. So they were making unlabored casual conversation with me, as I was too strained to give any real response. Then we got to the stairs. In the back of my mind, where my conscience probably is, I knew I had to stop putting up this ridiculous act and confront the fact that I could not move all this stuff. But the logic part of my brain was telling me that there was no way to stop on the stairs, while simultaneously resting the armoire. If I set it down even just for a second, it would slip, because of the width and angle of the stairs. Just when I started to feel the lightheadedness really intensifying, I had tripped over my own feet, and in an effort to steady myself, I shot a hand out onto the banister and lost the grip on my hand. I yelled out because both I wanted to warn the girls who were on the other side before they were crushed by this thing, and because it fell on my toes, and it went crashing down the stairs and shattered down onto the concrete entry floor. The girls managed to get out of the way, though, which is the really important thing. I then had to explain that I was not, in fact, an Olympic weightlifter, or lifter of any things of any kind, and I will likely have to buy her a new armoire because I'm sure this one is broken. I'm also sure at least 2 of my toes are broken, so I got my karma for being disingenuous. Luckily, the neighbor and her friend, my new neighbor, were pretty understanding about the situation, and when my toe is healed, I plan to draw inspiration from this otherwise abysmal experience to maybe, sometimes, hit the gym. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Adventures in Fast Food and Retail, episode 126. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you liked the video, then please do boop the like button and leave a comment. If you haven't done so already, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. And also, I'd like to give a little shout out, and apologies for forgetting this first time round, that's why this video is re-uploaded, to Reddit user Harley47117. And I'm also going to include a little link next to their story to their YouTube channel, which I recommend checking out. It is called Cute and Fluffy Animals, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. Videos of cute and fluffy animals that, quite frankly, will probably make your day better. And let me just head off the comments. Some of you are already typing. I can hear it. Oh, I can hear it already. Last story does technically count because the nature of the person's work that put them in that situation where they film work safety videos, so it's a bit of a stretch, I do admit, but I like the story and I wanted to use it, so that's why I included it. Okay, where are we now? We're in June already. Boo. I have to remember I have a dermatologist appointment next week. Don't want to miss that. Super important. just for Mr. Isis' stuff, and good timing. Thought I'd have to wait longer, so that's nice. Right, I'm trying to get this done a little bit early before I go to bed, because I'm going to have a Hellfreezer? No, I'm going to have a relaxy lazy day on Thursday, just to unwind, catch up on my stories, maybe watch any films that... Spider-Man Homecoming's up on Netflix. I've still not seen that yet. Hang on, wait, no, not Home. I've seen Homecoming. The second one, is it Far From Home? I need to see Far From Home, yeah. It's only one of those Marvel kind of films I've not seen, so I'll get that maybe watched today if I'm in the mood. If not, I'm sure I'll find something to entertain me. Okay, I think I'll head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.